Hello, this is Rocky Patel with Pranic Lifestyle, coming to you with another coaching video. And today I'd like to talk about e-commerce, which is basically selling online. And I've been doing e-commerce, I built my first website in like 1997 or something like that. 1997, 1998. I made my first website. And since then, I've had many different websites. And I was in different types of, selling different things. For a certain time, I was selling lingerie and swimwear and, different types of products. And there's many types of business models in e-com. And e-com is wonderful. I mean, as you can see with all the physical stores going out of business. I mean, day after day you hear about these big companies, these big brick and mortar physical stores. They call them big box stores, or like the big stores. They're going out of business. Why? Why is that? Well, I mean, now, these days it's because, people, the mall might be closed now, or like people don't want to go to the mall. But even before that, the trend was people would just order online and have it shipped to their house, right? And then now recently, everybody's trying to get into e-com. They're like, okay, it's time to go online. We need to pivot and make sure that we're online and we're making money online. And e-com could be, this basically means taking transactions online with credit card, PayPal, or however, they're trying to pay. And typically, you would just have a platform like Shopify or a WordPress website, or there's like Volusion and there's like Magento. There's different platforms you can use to build your e-com store. And having a e-com store is much cheaper than having a physical store. And you don't necessarily have to have as many employees unless you got like a big place. But like the expenses are so high. Like, say if I'm selling smoothie cups, I got my Smoothie King store or whatever, and I'm selling this smoothie cup for $10, and I got the store and I got employees, and like, say the smoothie cups cost, I buy wholesale at $3, and so yeah, there's $7 profit, but then you got to minus out the electricity, the rent, the insurance, the any bad debt, like the payroll, and then paying yourself if you're lucky, paying your own salary. And I don't even pay myself, really. I mean, I do, my business does pay for my expenses and stuff, but it's like I don't necessarily even pay myself. And a lot of business owners don't even pay themselves, right? Like, I have, my parents are in a physical business, like a hotel business, and they live off the business, but they are not necessarily paying themselves an hourly rate. It's like working for free, basically. And of course, your pay comes through the business paying for your expenses, but you're not necessarily paying yourself. So ideally, it's nice to pay yourself, but in the beginning, if you're just launching, there's no money to pay yourself. And typically, businesses aren't making money the first couple of years when they launch. So anyways, the brick and mortar stores, many of them are launching an online presence to go with it, and then shutting down the store, shutting down the physical store. Because like here in the US, you go to the mall, the big indoor mall, a while back, that mall, every store was filled. It was rare to find anything in there that was empty. But now we go in there, it's like every other store is gone, and then like the Sears is gone, the Anchor, normally these malls or these strip malls, they have an anchor store like a Sears or JCPenney's Like our mall in Kansas City that we used to go to, it had like Macy's, Jones Store, Sears, Old Navy, all these clothing stores, the Gap, and these other stores. And now you go in there, well, the Jones Store's gone, the Sears is gone, or going. I can't remember if it's gone. Anyway, it's going. All of the giant department stores are gone. And so that basically means like less traffic for the mall. Less people will come there because, a lot of people were going because of those big stores. And so the foot traffic, they're relying on people walking into the store. And in a lockdown especially, the place is completely closed. So then that's like, So, now it's so important to be preparing for the future, to lockdown proof, basically, your income and your business. And if, even right now, you don't have a presence, you can have one. You can start one. You just have to have, like, you can either make your own products, or, you can buy wholesale, or you can do what's called drop shipping. But you have to be really careful with this drop shipping stuff. It's been around a long time. It's like, hey, you don't need any inventory. I remember before the internet, it was like they would have these catalogs. Hey, start your own drop shipping business. And they would give you a catalog with no name on it, and you put your name on it. When someone wants to buy the product, they call you, they would call you or mail in a form to you. They would give you the money, and then you got to go call the company and give them the address that you want to ship to, and then pay, and then they ship it to your customer, and then you get to keep the difference. But the only drawback about some of these things is they might not necessarily be private labeling the package for you. Like I remember years ago, I was doing this drop shipping stuff, and I got fooled into some stuff. It was a scam. It was a scam type thing. Not a scam, but it was different than what they were saying it was. But it was like I was selling shoes, and I'm trying to build my own company, my own brand. And at that time, I think LadySportsWorld.com was my brand, and I got the order, and they shipped it to my customer. Oh no, I think I did a test order where I ordered a pair of shoes or something, or something, and they sent it to me. Well, it came with their name on the box, that company's name on the box, with the receipt and everything from them, and their catalog. And I was like, well, where's my information? They're not going to repeat buy from me. They're just going to go directly to you guys next time. It's not a sustainable business. I can't control the shipping portion of it. So, I mean, some companies will do that for you, but you have to, you have to find out ahead of time, whether they're going to kind of private label the package for you, where they're putting from you, and then it's got like your invoice in the box, your sheet with, like how it'd be like Pranic Lifestyle inside the box. That way, you can keep getting the repeat sales, and it looks like it's from you. And like typically, like on my rings and stuff, it's all U.S. based manufacturing. So nothing's coming from overseas, and we'll talk about that later. And it comes with my name on it. And it comes with only the retail pricing. They don't see any of the numbers, like the behind the scenes numbers. But and it even will come with a box, like a jewelry box with my name on it. So the packaging, the boxes, everything comes with my name on it, and my contact information, like it came from me. right? So that's one thing you have to look for if you're going to try to do like the drop shipping. And it has to be USA based only if you're going to have like, products that aren't yours. I mean, like one example would be, there's a really cool company in California called Eugenia Swimwear, and I used to sell this stuff. Oh, I love the business. We're selling women's swimwear, pretty girls, like just women in lingerie and in swimsuits, and even the conventions. They had like business meetings where they do all the models come, and I was like in love. I was like, wow, this is awesome, and it's a business expense that I get to go and see all the models, and it's my business, so I have to be there, right? It's like I'd be slacking if I wasn't. At that time, it wasn't ideal, and so I stopped selling it because there was no refunds. Like if somebody bought like a swimsuit, and typically they're like skimpy small stuff, so it's like they didn't allow returns. So if I sold stuff to and I was guaranteeing the product and taking returns if they didn't like it. And so I remember once I sold a swimsuit, and then the girl, it didn't fit or something, or didn't like it, and so she returned it to me, and I gave it to my girlfriend at the time, but so that worked out okay. But like I still had to go and buy another one at the wholesale price and ship it, so I barely made any money on it. I might have broken even on the deal. And so I was like, this is not good. It's not sustainable, because like clothing business, and I didn't know all that stuff ahead of time. It just looked fun, like, oh, swimsuits, wow, yeah, girls in bikinis, yeah. I mean, perfect business, but it turned out that they weren't allowing returns, and so that was like tough. Like anytime they didn't like something, they could just return it, and then I'd have to keep it because I couldn't return it to the company. So you have to make sure that, and now they changed though. Now I think they might take returns, I'm not sure, but at that time they didn't. So you want to make sure, like, whatever product you have, that if there's a manufacturer's defect, that you can do a return and ship them a new one without any cost to you. But not like taking returns like if they don't like the color, or like, I know people that they'll go and buy stuff from Walmart or the department store, use it for a little bit, and like, oh, I don't like it, and take it back. And they used it, right? And it's like, some women, they'll go and buy a dress and leave the tag on it and go on a date with it and then return the thing, right? It's like, so you just have to be sure, like, you don't get eaten up by returns or people thinking that they can return things. Like on my jewelry, I offer a very long warranty on the workmanship. Or defects only. If there's a defect in the material, like if the metal had a crack in it, or the something was happening structurally wrong with it. Not like, oh, they get it and they're like, oh, I don't like yellow gold. Let me see how the white gold looks. Or like, oh, that stone, I don't like the shade. Or like, oh, maybe I should have gotten the garnet. Let me return it. No. We don't do returns like that. Same with the crystals. Like, I don't take returns on the crystals because, I might give them a 24-hour period to take it and look at it and make sure it's perfect. Because once they start using it, it becomes contaminated. And if they're healing like cancer patients, it's like it can be really tough to like get it clean. And then plus they can damage the tip. They try to return it. I've had people try to do that to me. They use a crystal for like 6 months or 3 months, and then try to return it to me, with the tip like half broken off. And I'm like, no, I can't. I can't take that pack from you. And I never have returns anyways. Out of 10, 20,000 orders that I've shipped, like on my e-com site, that I've actually shipped and completed, thousands and thousands and thousands of orders, I can count on one hand the returns. And it might have been like one lady didn't like the way the oil smelled. And it was like Bliss oil. She didn't think it smelled like Bliss. Like, oh, it doesn't smell like Bliss to me. Like, I'm like, okay, whatever. And the ladies go through emotional issues and they just want to dump. They want to dump somewhere. I was like, okay, like whatever. But like very, very few returns. Hardly ever, never. But so anyways, you just want to be sure though, when you're shipping stuff that like your customer service stuff is taken care of. And so as far as like the drop shipping stuff, all that means is you'll receive an image of the product. You can either get images of it or buy one of them and take pictures yourself, and then whenever you sell them, then you order it and have it shipped to your customer, and you put the shipping address as your customer. But you have to be sure that it's like super high quality products, no junk, because junk, you'll get a lot of returns, and that affects your merchant account, your credit card account. They don't like that. They don't like seeing you having a bunch of returns. And I know a lot of these people on e-com, they already know ahead of time that they're going to get 15% returns. They're going to get 15, even 30% returns, and that's what they're planning ahead of time. They're planning ahead of time that they're going to get that many returns. So that means that the product is crap. And and it's like the merchant companies, they'll drop you if you get a lot of returns, a lot of complaints. They're just going to completely drop your account, and then you have to go and try to find another merchant company to take you. And there's like Stripe, there's Shopify is easy to get into, but it's not so easy though. I'll tell you more about that later. And as far as like this dropship from China, yeah, you can do it if you want, but there's 3-week shipping time, and if there's like a lockdown, then it's like no shipping. But a 3-week shipping time with poor quality, and then so that means high returns. Like I see these gurus on Facebook talking about, oh yeah, I'm doing AliExpress and blah blah blah. I'm like, dude, you're teaching stuff that was like years ago might have been okay, but now it's like the merchant companies do not like it. So I don't know why you guys are teaching this stuff and then showing you're making all this money, and yeah, you got 20% returns, and it's like, that's not sustainable. Your merchant company is not gonna allow keep you. They're gonna drop you, because typically, like with the drop shipping from China, the products are lower quality. But of course, yeah, you can get, the way that they get really super high quality products is you have it made for you in the factory and shipped to you, and then you warehouse it and ship it. That's okay. But like if you're just relying on some middleman to take it from the factory and then ship it to you, or ship it directly to your customer with a 3-week shipping time, and then once you get that, the customer gets it, if they want to return it, you got to eat that. Not only you got to refund them, but if they return it to you, you keep it. It's not going anywhere. The place in China is not going to take it back. So it's like, as far as customer service and keeping the merchant companies happy and a sustainable business model, it's tough. And they're constantly trying to find new products, like a winning product, and scale it up and blah blah blah, and like testing out different things with Facebook ads and yada yada yada, and like, oh, we got this little food chopper, or this selfie stick that rotates, or like, you have to, if you're going to sell anything on your website, you need to order one first and test the quality. Because if it's not good quality, you're going to get returns on it. So, the drop shipping can be good, but just try to make sure that you have some companies, they're like, they do bring everything in from China and have it in a warehouse in the USA, and then when the order comes in, they ship it out, and typically you pay a higher price for the product, but it's here in the US already now, and the shipping time is much faster. You might have like a week shipping time instead of 3 weeks, and it's trackable usually. Like when it ships from China, it's like, it's kind of hard to track. It's like, oh, it's shipped, and then you don't know it delivered until they actually get it. So you either want to have your own products, digital products, which is the ultimate type of product. But even some merchant companies, they don't like completely like merchant type products or information type products. Like on Shopify, I can't sell skin cream. They won't let me sell skin cream on there because, like, I guess a bunch of people were making claims or they did something. So that merchant company that backed Shopify will not let me sell cream. Well, there's other merchant company like Stripe. They don't like psychics, or these people that do psychic readings and like all this new age stuff, which is, I'm into all that. So you have to be sure you keep your customers happy. And if they ask for a refund, if you offer refunds, you give it to them fast before they go and complain about you. Because there are some people that are into like giving readings and stuff, which is not far off from like doing pranic killing sessions. But they can't. They had to go and try to find other ways to take credit cards because Stripe didn't like it, and like Stripe, they don't like the drop shipping, and they don't like PayPal doesn't like drop shipping. So yeah, you might be able to like, these gurus tell you to launch your store and build your store and load it up with all these products and start selling them. That's tough. It's tough. Because see, what happens is like, if you are successful and you get a bunch of sales, they're gonna come to verify you. It happened to me, like say I had Shopify, and luckily, I we'll talk about this in a second, but like, luckily I had all my business paperwork ready, business license from previously, my corporation, my business license, my EIN number, and references, vendor references. They wanted to know where my stuff was coming from. Imagine that. And luckily, and it was several steps. I was like, man, they're like really grilling me. So what typically happens is like, people will launch a store, load it up with products, and build a whole infrastructure around it, and they don't get any sales. So they can just sit there and keep paying for their website for a year, 2 years, 3 years, however long, and have their website, and they're thinking they're doing drop shipping and all this stuff. But then if they got a bunch of sales, like say $1,000 in sales, the Shopify merchant like verification department, they're gonna ask you like, I think after like a month, I think it was about a month into my launching my new Pranic Lifestyle store, praniclifestyle.com, after I got over 1,000 in sales, they came to verify me. They wanted to know all about me, vendor references and stuff. And if I would have been like, yeah, I'm drop shipping this stuff from China, and here's the name of the and they're gonna be like, they were to like drop me like a hot rock. They'd be like, you're not, So like, but people don't know this, and the gurus can teach this, because 99% of the people aren't going to make any money. I mean, the same with any type of business. Most people don't make it. Same with real estate. Real estate agents. You can have like 700,000-800,000 people go through, start the testing process and learning, and then they're learning to take the test, and then a bunch of people start dropping off, and then they actually take the test. A certain portion drops off, and the people that actually pass the test is like very small, and then the people that actually pass the test are able to go out and sell something is like even less. And so, there's a book called Lying with Statistics, or How to Lie with Statistics. It's basically taking numbers and like skewing them to your favor. And in like the real estate stuff, they're like, oh, the average income of a real estate agent is, I can't remember if it was like $40,000 a year, $45,000 a year, or something like that. The average income of the real estate agents, but that's not accurate, because if you average out the 800,000 people that started the process, and this is like on a yearly basis in like some parts of the country, you have all these people who are going for it, and they're not counting all those people that drop off, right? They're not like, so it's only like 0.5% of the people actually make over $45,000 a year. But like, no, the typical real estate agent makes $45,000 a year, right? So you would think every real estate agent makes that much, but no. They're only counting the people that are active and who are actually selling stuff. And so that, like, the amount of people that are actually making that amount of money, like say you've had like 100 agents, there might only be like 10 or 20 or a certain portion of those people who are even sold at one house in a year, right? So it's like, yeah. So you just have to watch like what people, how they tell you about these numbers. Like there's like this one guru guy who's like, oh yeah, I'm making millions a year. We're making millions a years from my Shopify stuff. But then like real quick he's like, these are the ones I manage, or these are my students. Between me and my students, we've sold all this stuff, right? So now it goes from like he's making millions a year to like he's not actually doing all that. And then you got to include all those returns they're talking about, because they're pitching the the drop shipping from China stuff. So then you minus out all the people that even get one sale. I've done like a lot of the testing with AliExpress, and it's tough to get even one sale with Facebook ads, or like even on your own list. It's tough to even get one sale. And until you get that, like, you don't even know like if the products are even good or not. And then if you get returns, it's like, so it's not as sexy as it sounds. And then they got, they're doing a lot of advertising. So yeah, say if somebody's like, I'm making $1 million a year, blah blah blah. Okay, well, what did you net? Oh yeah, I netted $50,000 on that. Oh, okay, yeah, because they had $200,000 or $300,000 in returns. Then they had Facebook ads, and they might be spending a couple thousand a day on ads. Because say if they're selling a $20 product, they might have to spend $10 in advertising to get that sale, right? And then you're lucky they're making, a couple bucks on it. But then if they got to have a return, then it's like the amount of money they're making on that $20 could be, $5 if they're lucky. So there's a big difference between gross and net. Like you got tons of people telling about all the money they're making. Like I have, I'm a student of real estate, and for years you've been seeing these guys on TV, and the guy with the yacht, with all the girls, talking about all the millions they're making, and I don't know, back in the day they had like Carlton Sheets, and this John Woo guy, be sitting there at 2 o'clock in the morning, and the guy would be like, hey you, sitting on the sofa, you're fat, broke, and you're stupid, you should buy my course. It's like, and they're basically teaching the same type of, they're making more money as a guru than they are in the actual business. And that's one thing you got to watch out for. With anybody you're learning from, they're typically making more on the courses and the coaching than they are actually doing what they're telling you to do. Like all these, Shopify gurus or all these e-com gurus telling you all about all the money that's being made and all their students. And I got Billy Bob who's making, selling widgets and yada yada yada. They're making more money selling coaching than they are actually doing the business. It's like in the gold rush, the people that made the most money, unless you're the guy that hit the big vein, of course you're going to make some money, but mostly all of the miners, someone might have made money, but the people who made the most were the guys selling equipment to the miners, food, jeans, Levi Strauss, right? Levi jeans, these really tough jeans that were bolted together with the bolt things. And maybe these days they don't necessarily have those as much, but they used to be like a button thing, like bolted, the fabrics bolted together, right? And so those were like really tough jeans that were needed by the miners. And Levi Strauss was like, okay, I'm not going to be over there picking on the ground and paying for gold in the stream. I'll just sell these guys jeans. And of course, Levi Strauss is a huge company now. Like one example of this is like, in the real estate, there was a couple techniques that were being taught. And I noticed like the gurus, like all the people that are selling the courses and the software and my system, they're so busy. All you do is see them doing coaching and like making videos and like and handling all their students, but they're not actually out there doing deals. They might do a few, or they might have done a bunch in the past and they're not doing anything now. But like say, like one guru might be like, yeah, I'm doing 100 deals a year. I'm doing 100 deals and I'm averaging, like on this type of deal, they're just trying to make a little bit of money on the deal, and and then exit the contract, called wholesaling. And so basically they just set the deal up and sell the contract off to another investor and try to make 3 to 5% of the whole deal. And so on the average deal, like say if it's $5,000, which is kind of high, it's typically $3,000 to $5,000 on this type of deal, but say it's like $5,000 on a normal size house, like, you know, at least in the Midwest, it's like, say if it's $100,000 house, or say even 200, and they're gonna make say $5,000 on the deal. Well, they'll be like, yeah, you know, I did 100 deals, an average of 5,000 deal. I'm breaking in 500 large last year, made 500,000. But what they're not telling you is how much advertising it took to get that deal. Like typically, like, you know, in the big real estate, like people that are like doing a lot of deals, they might have to call on the telephone 7,000 phone calls. 7,000 phone calls, dialing 7,000 people to get one deal that goes through. And then I thought that was like, oh, that's whatever. But yeah, you know, I had a very large, you know, like operation. We were calling a lot of people, and we were calling thousands of people, right? And it wasn't easy. It was not easy. All the gurus, oh, it's so easy. You know, you can, you know, practically does itself. It's going to automate. It's all automated. You can see a lot of stuff these days. They pitch like it's passive and automated. And I'm sitting drinking out of a coconut, you know, with surrounded by bikini-clad babes and blah blah blah. But it's not. You know, none of this stuff is easy as it e-com. Not as easy as they say. But on the, like, say on the real estate stuff, the guru's like, oh, I'm making $500,000 a year, but I'm paying 20% of that goes to the guy who landed the deal, who got the contract, and then another 30% is going to the guy who sells the deal, and then we have advertising costs in there. That, you know, you gotta advertise to get the people to call, or you gotta buy the names and stuff. So out of that 500,000, you know, the guy is lucky to be making 100,000 net before taxes, right? So it's not like, oh, I'm making yeah, we net it out. It's not as much as they're really saying they're making. So they're making way more on selling the coaching than they are in the actual business. So, you know, you just have to, like, you know, watch out who you're listening to. And when they're telling you it's so easy and I got this system and all you got to do is follow this and the money's going to roll in and you're just going to kick back and your virtual assistants are going to do all the work, and no. It doesn't work like that. I mean, even if you have VAs, like virtual assistants, in any type of business, you still have to manage those VAs. You still got to watch them. Like, I have VAs, and I've got systems to track them, but even then, you know, they try to check you, try to find ways around, you know, like, you know, to fool you, basically. Like, oh, you know, you're paying me by this much an hour. Let me look busy. Let me, you know, look like it's work being done, but it's not. And, you know, and I'm using like very special software to track this. You know, if you're just trusting people to be doing stuff, it's like very tough, especially with VAs. But yeah, so, you know, having an e-com store is, I mean, I love it. I love it. I mean, I'm a stay-at-home dad for years. You know, I've been like, you know, working from home. I got to help raise my children from home. And it was a beautiful thing. It's all because of the e-com stuff. Where I'm basically shipping stuff out all the time, and I don't have to see anybody or even talk to anybody, except sometimes I rarely might have to jump on the phone with somebody, and I don't like the phone. I'm like, you know, I'll chat with you, I'll text with you, but please don't make me talk to you on the phone. Because, you know, it's a waste of time, really. Like, talking on the phone, you can waste a lot of time. But with chat and like texting, you know, you're not doing, oh, how's the family, and let's catch up, and blah, blah, blah. How's little Susie and Billy and little Kimmy and Sam? You know, like, it's like, you know, you waste 20 minutes just talking, and then they ask you something, and then it's like, you know, you might spend an hour on the phone with them, and then they might not even buy anything, right? So, I mean, I have a phone number on my website, but I never really answer it. I will have some of my assistants start answering the phone for me and working the chat on my website, because I have like an instant chat thing, but I never really monitor it like I should be doing. So in the daytime, you know, I can have some of my assistants help me with that. But typically, if you're going to have your own e-com stuff, the only way to do it without being a slave is like the private label. And there are certain companies out here that say there's a cream, they'll formulate the cream for you, put it in a jar, label it, and it's all automated. The machine does all this, squirts it in there, wraps it, puts it in cases, and then like ships it to wherever you want to go. Whether it goes to you or to a warehouse. And that is like the grand exit strategy for the e-com stuff, where you're having it private labeled, you know, whether it's the products from China and you're bringing them in, or, you know, you're having them made here, but you're actually buying the physical inventory ahead of time and having it in a fulfillment house. So when the order comes in, it ships directly to the customer, and you're not the one doing it. Because, you know, in the e-com business, like for me, typically, I was the one doing everything. The bottling, the shipping, the labeling, the warehousing, the shipping, the wrapping of the products. I mean, it could take an hour just to get one little bottle of oil, 2 bottles of oil. You know, they buy it for $20, but it could take me an hour or so just to get it ready. Like, see, if I need to bottle it and I'm out, I gotta bottle it and then hope I have the labels. And if I don't, then it's like I gotta make or order more labels. Then I gotta bubble wrap it, and then I gotta find a box. I don't know how much time I've wasted looking for boxes to go, you know, to put stuff in. And then it's like, oh, you gotta find tape, and then you're jacking around the tape, and then the tape is stuck on the roller. I don't know how many hours I've wasted trying to pick the tape off the tape thing and get it back to where you can pull it out. And then you do one stripe, and then like the thing sticks back on the roll of tape, and then now you're like trying to get the tape, and then you pull the tape, and it kind of breaks, and one little piece comes off, and then you do it again. And it's like, oh my god, this is like, I mean, I got overwhelmed with like orders before, where I had orders stacked to the ceiling, double stacks to the ceiling of my house. But it was like, wow, it's a lot of work. So the exit strategy for me is I just have everything made either by me or directly in the factory, and then shipped to my fulfillment house. And then the fulfillment house could be Amazon, fulfillment by Amazon. I have stuff on Amazon like rose oil and my books and stuff. And typically there, I mail in ahead of time to the warehouse my product, and it's sitting there. Order comes in, they ship it out anywhere in the world for me. Same with my books. All my books are on print on demand through Kindle publishing. Because in the past, like, you would have to physically have your book on hand So not only you have to buy the book, have it shipped to you, and it's there's a lot of weight to the books, and then when order comes in, you gotta like maybe bubble or like Ziploc bag the book, put it in an envelope, schlep it over to the post office, wait in line over there, and then mail it. And it's a lot of work. But with print on demand, it's all printed in real time and then shipped. And as far as the e-com side, there's also print on demand for shirts, hats, mugs, keychains, you name it, necklaces, any type of like promotional product that like you've seen in the past, like pens and like companies would have like a frisbee with their name on or whatever. Those are promotional items that they're having their name custom printed on, but they would have to order like 500 of these products or 1,000 of them to get a good deal on it. But with print on demand, like Pillow Profits or gearbubble.com, and you just have to type in in Google print on demand, and you'll see all these things come up. You could take a design like what was this shirt company they used to have a lot of shirts, forgot the name of it, but like you would basically take an image or a design, and they have like a blank shirt, computer generated, and it puts your stuff on it and gives you a mock-up, right? So now you have a really cool picture of your shirt, and you could take that image and then you could put it on your website, or you get your link and you can promote it, and it's no cost to you, and you don't have to inventory anything, and the product's not even created until an order comes in. So say if I was selling these whatever this is, smoothie cup, and I want a Pranic lifestyle on the side, I would just go and put this on my website, and then like order comes in, they would print it on there and ship it directly to my customer, and I would still make a 50-60% markup profit on it, and I didn't have to touch it, didn't have to touch the product, and there was no product cost except for the design or my time. Like you've probably all seen Keep Calm and Carry On, or this nurse loves aromatherapy, or this nurse loves that, or like Teespring.com was one of these sites where they have like designs, and you can get a hoodie, you can get a whatever. Like this Pillow Profits one, you can get shoes with your design on. You want like a beach island, you want to put your kid's face on your shoes, they'll print it out with your whatever image you want on the shoe. And years ago, you would need hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment to be able to do this. But the only catch here is like, you don't know what's going to sell, what's going to catch on. You might think that the design is good and you love it, but doesn't mean other people are going to buy it. So the business is, you have to keep designing stuff and then posting it or emailing your list and seeing if anybody buys it. And until they do, then you don't have a winning product. And I've seen people like, they might try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 designs, 10 designs, and nothing sells, and they just quit. You have to test like lots and lots of designs and keep doing it until one of those designs take off. And it could be a cat mug, or it could be whatever. It could be, just something that catches on. And so print on demand is really, really good. As far as like books, the clothing, coffee mugs and all this stuff. But yeah, I was just giving guys a little input on my e-com experience and the different ways to do it. But when you do launch your store, if you don't already have your LLC to go with it and your EIN numbers and all that stuff, you want to go ahead and do that in the beginning and be in it for the long term. Because as soon as you start getting sales, especially on Shopify, they're going to come and verify you once you get sales. And so if you're like, you're drop shipping stuff from AliExpress and you get a bunch of sales and they come and verify you and you don't have a company, you don't have an EIN, you don't have a business license, and you're saying, yeah, I'm here's my vendor in Shenzhou, China, good luck. Maybe they'll be like, high five, good job. But as far as I know, they don't like you doing that. But the gurus don't tell you that. They don't tell you, oh yeah, you can launch, but you're gonna get verified here in a little bit. So good luck with that. I mean, luckily for me, all my references were in the U.S. and they're companies I've been doing business with for a long time. And there is a drop shipping component to some of the stuff, but it's all done here in the USA. And I don't necessarily tell them that. If they question it, I'd be like, well, I have it shipped to me first and then I reship it. But as far as like my drop shipping, it's like solid. Like even if they were like want to look at it, they would see it's solid. I mean, I got next day shipping on some of the stuff, right? So it's like solid, fast shipping, super high quality, the best quality, like jewelry and rings and stuff. And I love it. I love the jewelry business, but it's not lockdown proof because that factory could get shut down. Just like, in China, these factories got shut down. All these people, they were doing the AliExpress thing, their orders didn't get shipped, or they took an order and instead of 3 weeks, the people never get it. So they had to refund all the people. And it's like, it was a nightmare for these guys. It was a big wake-up call for a lot of people that were relying on things from overseas. They're like, whoa, I need to be more self-sufficient, have things done locally or in town, or within the USA. Because that's where I'm from. Like if you're from Brazil or India or wherever, you can do all this stuff within your own country. You just have to choose products that you can easily get, make a good profit on, and things that people aren't going to refund on. And if you're going to be selling something, you want to order one to see, and if you're going to go really big on a product, you might want to order 12 of them to see how the quality is. Like if I was going to sell these things, I might order a case of them. You see what happens is, like, if you want to order these from China by the 1,000 and then warehouse them, that's really cool. That's actually what the gurus are doing. Beyond the Ali, that's like the next step. But most people will never make it past that first step of this drop shipping part. But when you're asking for samples, you might talk to the factory, be like, yeah, send me a sample of your smoothie cup. They'll find the best looking one out of the batch and send that one to you. This is the quality we have. But are every one of the pieces that quality? The only way to find out is if you order 12 of them like a real customer would buy. You're not going to be like acting like you're going to buy thousands of them. You want to, and then they're try to impress you and like make it perfect for you. You want to see what they're giving their normal customers, because that's what they're going to be shipping to your customers. And so if you order like 12 of these, you can compare the quality of each of them and see is it the same. They should all be exactly the same. And if they're not, and one thing to avoid is electronics. Avoid the electronics.
In 1 mile, keep left onto I-90
You want to be sure the electronics are good. I mean, like, you know, there's like the drone, you know, like you can be in the drone business, and I actually set up a drone website to do drop shipping from the drones. But the only drawback was there was no refund, you know, no refunds allowed. And typically what happens on the drones, you know, the cheaper ones, it's low quality, but typically people will crash them the first day. They'll take the drone out and like they might not read the instructions properly, and some of them aren't made to use outside. It's meant to be used indoors where there's no wind or sunlight, but people don't read the instructions, or and in general they're hard to fly anyways, like these helicopters or these drones. And I was like, yeah, I want to, drones are us, I'm gonna go big with the drones. I set up everything to do it, and then I realized that it's not a good business to be in, because people what they do is like they buy a drone, they wreck it, and then they want to return it. They try to return it. Like, oh yeah, something was wrong with it, and they just wrecked the thing. They ran it and just broke it, and then they try to return it. So it's like it's a terrible business. Like as far as like the normal drop shipping with the low quality stuff. But if you're selling like really good quality stuff, look, Sam, an airplane. If you're selling really good quality stuff, then it doesn't matter. But like one horror story was, I don't know if you guys remember these hoverboards. They're like these skateboard things that you stand on, and they got wheels on the bottom of it, and you basically just ride it around. It's like a hoverboard. They didn't really hover, but they had batteries in them and a motor, and you had to charge it with electricity. And what happened was a bunch of these people were dropshipping from China, and they got in big legal trouble and financial trouble because people burned their houses down because they were the electronics shorted out. Like they had it plugged in their house in the wall, and the thing caught on fire. And we're talking millions of units were shipped. Like and it was a really big deal. These hoverboard. Even one of my people that helps me was trying to get me into that business. You know, when I was looking for like things to sell, like, oh, you know, you want to buy this website from us? It's set up to sell hoverboards. I was like, yeah, I don't know, it looks cool, but whatever. And then I found out later that the people they had to stop selling them like across the board because people's houses were burning down because electronics were shorting out. And the people that sold it were liable, right? So, you know, like I was saying with the candle business, you know, there's liability there. Oh, there's the lake, guys, look. There's Lake Erie. Just saw Lake Erie. But anyways, that's more about setting up your e-com stuff, and we'll see you on the next coaching call.